evening and welcome to Cecil Weekly. It's January 30th and we have three very exciting guests. I'm Allison Donnelly and I'm here tonight with Renee Dixon from Freedom Hills. We also have Town Commissioner Mary Jo Jablonski and local musician Howard Isenberg. Renee,
hi.
It's nice to have you here.
It's great to be here.
So, can you tell us about Freedom Hills?
Well, Freedom Hills Therapeutic Riding Program. We are going into our 35th year of serving people who happen to have mental, physical, and or emotional difficulties. We were the second program in the United States to serve military veterans, and we also have a Kids at Risk program.
Wow, and how did you get into this?
My mom used to, we lived on our farm since I was 2, and my mom used to take in foster children, and one of them got hurt, unfortunately, and had to spend some time at Johns Hopkins Hospital. And while she was down there, I got to know the occupational therapist, and I thought, wow, what a great thing to help children with occupational therapy. But as I got older, I thought I could never spend 9 hours, 10 hours a day in a hospital.
Right.
So my love for the horses and the fact that we already had the farm and my love for kids just made sense that I would do therapeutic horseback riding.
Yeah, and so I've always wondered, how does therapeutic horseback riding work? How does it work?
Oh, that's a great question. Well, first of all, our youngest student started when he was 18 months old.
Wow.
And our oldest student was 99 when he graduated on up.
That's awesome.
As far as how does it work, it depends obviously on the person's disability. If somebody has a physical disability, the horse's movement helps the person's hips move as if they were walking.
Oh.
Walking is the best exercise you can get. But if you're sitting in a wheelchair or you're on crutches, you're not going to get that fluid movement. So when you're sitting on top of the horse, his movement encourages your hips to move in the same way that you were walking.
And so I know that you also serve veterans. How does therapeutic horseback riding help with veterans? Because I feel like that might be a different sort of therapy.
Right. Well, a lot of our veterans have post-traumatic stress disorder. So just the fact of being out on the farm and maybe away from the hospital. We used to work with Perry Point quite a bit. And we will eventually, again, but we're in the middle of the winter, so we don't have a lot of students right now in the winter. But just getting away from their daily routine. A lot of, again, our veterans come back from the war and they have post-traumatic stress disorder, and they need something just to help them calm themselves. They need to redirect their thought process. There's something about the oxytocin. When you put your hands on a horse, there's something that the horse helps the oxytocin come up in your body to help you to be more relaxed.
So is that kind of like if you have a pet, if you have a dog that you are cuddling with or petting?
Well, certainly working with animals, any kind of animals would help somebody to relax quite a bit. But there's also, horses live in a herd. And when people are at war or when they're in the service, they are used to having their comrades around them. And somebody always has your back. Well, the same thing with horses. When a horse is in their herd, there's always one horse that's always on high alert. So the veterans can relate a whole lot more to how a horse acts as opposed to how your dog acts. And your dog's always going to love you.
Right.
No matter what you do to your dog, he's going to love you. But a horse, he can sense what's going on inside of you, and if he's not liking what you're thinking, he could have a little bit of attitude too.
Right.
And so if I'm working with a veteran and he's grooming that horse and the horse puts his ears back, you might say to the veteran, well, what do you think's going on there? And then the veteran could start to think, oh, maybe I touched a spot on the horse that was uncomfortable to him.
Right.
Okay. But once the veteran's been working around the horses for a few weeks, he could start to read the horse and learn more about body language. So then when he goes home and he's working out, talking with his wife, and his wife might, give him one of these or, act a little bit different, he will learn not to take offense to that.
Right.
And then he can learn, well, maybe we could talk about that situation. So the horse didn't take offense when acted a certain way, and I've learned not to take offense when the horse acted a certain way. So now maybe I could take that information, and when I'm with people, maybe I could start to act a little bit differently around the people, and maybe won't be so offended by something that they do.
Right.
And so that he can start to transition better into the community.
That's really fascinating.
And there's a whole lot more to it than that.
Right.
That's just a little icing on the cake.
So you have this charity or this fundraiser on
Saturday night.
Saturday night.
February 4th. Yes. Yeah.
Night in the 50s.
Yeah.
And so how will the proceeds benefit the therapeutic riding program?
All of the proceeds we get that night will go towards taking care of the horses, feeding, vet work. Horses aren't cheap. They cost us a lot of money. So yeah, all of the proceeds will go towards the maintenance of the horses.
Cool. So why should people attend this event?
Well, first of all, it's going to be a lot of fun. We have some great auction items. We have a mink coat. We have a cruise in around the Chesapeake with a gift certificate from Schaefer's Canal House. We have heating oil. We are hoping to get 100 gallons of propane. We have a really cute dollhouse. So we've got some great items. We have a lot of them listed on our website, and you'll see them on Facebook. We're going to have 50s dancing and some great the food at the Rising Sun Banquet Hall is always good. But the real reason you should come is to help out Freedom Hills Therapeutic Riding Program so that we can then help others.
Yes, that sounds like an awesome event. And that is at the Rising Sun Banquet Hall on February 4th, 5 to 11?
5:30. I messed up on Facebook. Yes, it's 5:30 to 11.
And people can buy tickets online? Or
Yes, you can purchase them online. We'd like to have our head count by Wednesday, but we'll have a few extra tickets that we could sell at the door. But it is best if you buy them ahead of time.
Okay, great. Well, we'll definitely share that event on our Facebook.
Fabulous. Thank you.
Thanks so much for coming.
Yeah, one thing I also like to put in is that we are a premier accredited center with Professional Association for Therapeutic Horsemanship, and I have my advanced certification with PATH, and all of our instructors are registered instructors with PATH. So we're not some flyby, oh, let me put the little kid on the pony. We have been studying for a long time, and we have a very good idea of what we do. We also work with a physical therapist. We have a mental health professional who works with us.
That's awesome.
So, yeah.
Renee, thanks so much for being here.
Sure.
Thanks for telling us about the event and about Freedom Hills. It's been great to talk to you.
It was nice talking to you too. Thanks.
Rob Churnside here for Cecil.tv, Cecil Weekly, and we have another guest, Mary Jo Jablonski. Welcome to Cecil Weekly.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you. The pleasure is ours. Mary Jo is an icon in Cecil County. She's the Elkton Town Commissioner, one of several, and the Executive Director of the Elkton Alliance.
Yes.
So that's two hats for you. You
Yes.
balance it well. I've known you for many years, and Elkton just seems to get better and better all the time. Why don't you tell us about a little bit of background as we talk, but what about this new grant that I read about in the Cecil Wig?
Okay, I did just receive for the Elkton Alliance a $25,000 grant, and that is going to a new imaging, branding, marketing study for the town. We know, most of us know how the town has changed, like someone like you who's there a lot. Others don't recognize that. So we're bringing in a professional company from North Carolina, and they're going to be doing this study so we could get out there. We are new, we are fresh, we are growing, and we're getting into the times that's not the old Elkton. So we're real excited about that we could do it. And the grant's paying for most of it, and the grant comes from the Maryland Department of Housing and Community Development. And with being one of the 28 designated main streets in the state of Maryland, we have the opportunity to apply for some grants that are not available to everyone. This was what they call an MIP, Maryland Improvement Grant, through the Main Street program. So, and they know we are working on the downtown especially, and that's where this is going. So we were approved for that grant, and I'm very excited about it.
That's awesome. So businesses and individuals who have property downtown or rent property, if they want to do something to improve it that ties in with this grant, they can do that.
That's actually another one. That's a facade grant through the Department of Housing and Community Development. And that you have to be a sustainable community, which most of Cecil County is. I believe there's one town looking into it right now. But we have been for a long time. So we are now working on another $50,000 grant at the Elkton Alliance for facade improvements. And if you were to open a business downtown or in the downtown business area, you can apply for 50% of the cost of redoing the front of your business.
Wow.
So if it cost you $20,000, you could apply for 10. And it goes to our facade committee, then to the state of Maryland for approval, and you're off to having a beautiful new look. And we are right now up to $500,000 in grants from the facade grant program and almost $3 million in downtown improvements. So that has really gone far.
And that puts the spotlight on Elkton, upgrades everything, and
Yes.
you still kind of retain some of the historical old Elkton too.
And that's why it has to go to the state, because they will not okay everything, because they do want to maintain that historic look, and it has.
Kind of a balancing act.
Yes.
Kind of like being commissioner and alliance executive.
Well, that's
How do you
all
do that?
Alliance. That is all with my job at the Alliance. And you know, the difference is at the Alliance I worked for the pleasure of the board. I am an employee. The board tells me what they want done, and I do. But as a commissioner, I am a decision maker. I am a vote. So I help make the decisions for the betterment of the community.
Right, right. And there are community events, and there are alliance events too, correct?
The Alliance runs all the events downtown except for the 4th of July. The 4th of July is the town of Elkton. So we do all the car shows, the Music on Main, the Fall Fest, the Memorial Day Parade. And you've been involved with
the Halloween parade.
And the Halloween parade.
With that giant vehicle that spews fire and bounces up and down. Oh, it's a sight to behold.
Yeah, the Halloween parade has come so far. I mean, this year we had over 800 participants in the parade, besides the people that come out to look. So it really has grown from a little morning event to a really great nighttime parade.
Yeah, and a lot of wonderful stuff going on downtown. Mary Jo, what's the funnest part of your job in the Alliance? And I guess that's kind of your job, and being a commissioner is a political onus or obligation.
Yes, yes. Although I love being a commissioner, I love being part of, and I think both my jobs have to do with people. I love people, and I'm able to interact with people. Like coming here tonight, the guests, I know them all. I know their stories, you know, and you, and it's just wonderful to always be with people. And with the Alliance, I think seeing when we have an event, and you know, whether it's a car show and there's a gentleman that comes down from the senior apartments, and he always has to give me a hug and say, "Thank you so much. This reminds me of the days when I was young," you know, right. Or the little kid getting on Santa's lap at Christmas time. It brings joy to them, and that's what makes me happy.
Right, and I imagine you have your challenges as well.
We do, and it's always, you know, it's whether it's funding or time or, but it's not really a challenge at this time. We are fortunate to have a great board of directors, and at the town level, our new mayor, well, he's not new, Mayor Rob Alt, I still say new, but and the board that we have now is a great board. And we all seem to want the same thing, and that's bringing Elkton back. You know, the state of Maryland on their Department of Commerce website website, if you would go on, it'll say open for business. And that's what we want people to know. Elkton is open for business, and we want you to come to our town.
Yes, yes. And people who live outside of Elkton need to come downtown.
Yes.
Need to come to town.
Yes.
And find out what's going on. And how can they find out what's going on?
They could go to our Facebook page at the Elkton Chamber and Alliance. They could go to our website, elktonalliance.org. The town keeps it on their website, all the events that are happening as well. We send it up to them. And this Friday is First Friday. I know you've been involved with a lot of them, and we have a new business opening, a new owner for the Gallery 122 with new craft types and art things going in there. So we hope everybody comes down to enjoy that.
And First Friday is kind of like a town-wide party.
Yeah.
You ought to check it out. If you haven't checked it out, you ought to check it out.
Yeah, you walk the loop. The restaurants have specials. The art galleries all have, whether it's wine and cheese or something else, you kind of taste your way through. But it's a great night, and it's becoming very, very popular with the Arts Council to the Cecil College. I mean, it's just, and of course, Gracie's Cafe's open mic, which is the best kept secret in Cecil County.
Well, Cecil.tv wants to find out more about that one.
Yes, yes, they definitely need to.
And what's next? What's your next thing coming? The first Friday, I guess, in February.
First Friday in February, and in March we're celebrating our Citizen of the Year. And this year, I will be the first to say here, it is Sue Whitaker. Sue Whitaker has been a volunteer for the town of Elkton. I was involved since 1998, and she was prior to that with the women's organization, the Elkton Alliance, and it kind of went full circle on her being one of the first to start on the revitalization to the town. And now that she's retired, and she opened up a quilt store on Main Street, Sue's Quilts. So we're excited about her being chosen, and we'll celebrate that March 30th.
Awesome, awesome. That's great. Mary Jo, thank you very much for coming on Cecil.tv.
Thank you, Ralph,
Cecil
for having
Weekly.
me.
See you First Friday.
Okay.
Well, Cecil Weekly, Cecil.tv welcomes Howard Isenberg. Howard, welcome.
Thank you, Rob.
A local musician, as was noted earlier, who I have actually seen playing on Main Street in Elkton at the Music on Main series.
It was indeed a good time.
Yes, for several years, too.
Yes, yes.
So, Howard, tell our viewers what kind of music you play. How would you describe it?
Well, it's hard to fit it in one box, I think, because I'm influenced by several genres through my lifetime, and I think I distill a bunch of them into whatever I write myself. So it's hard to say. I like bluegrass music, I like blues, so it's all over the place.
And you have an outlet because you play in several different conglomerations, correct?
Yes, I do. 4 different groups.
4 different groups. Now, what are they?
Gang of 2, which you've joined us with Gang of 2 several times.
And so
many
that
times.
made it Gang of 3, right?
Not quite. You're gaining on it, so we're almost at
Gang of
2.5, yes.
I'll work on it.
The old crispy minstrels, because we're old and crispy. We also have Kona Shame, which is a rock and blues band. And then I do solo stuff as Big Izzy.
Cool. So Big Izzy keeps busy.
Yes, indeed.
And in addition to playing music, Howard, I know you came to this area from California?
Yes, I did. I grew up in Southern California, and I successfully escaped.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
And you got your education and moved out here and worked in the mental health field?
Mental health and substance abuse treatment. It's a human service agency that I'm the executive director of. Yeah.
Nice. So you help people and entertain people. I bet you there's a Northwest Passage in there somewhere
Yes,
where
it
you
does
could bring the
converge.
2 together, and you're just the guy to do it, I'm sure.
I have, on occasion, merged my professional life with what I do for my own joy. Yes.
So, playing for us tonight, you're going to do a song. How would you describe this?
Well, I do a lot of work with veterans. there's a network in Delaware that supports military service members, veterans and their families. I'm also an Air Force veteran, and something must have stuck in my mind one night because I woke up from a sound sleep with a fully intact set of lyrics to a song, and that's the song I'm going to play tonight.
Well, we're looking forward to that. A couple more questions,
Sure.
if you don't mind. You play the guitar and you sing.
Yes.
Was that your first instrument? Are there others?
I actually started writing poetry, and then when I picked up the guitar, there was a natural transition to those poems being lyrics to songs. I do play a little mandolin, a little bit of fiddle, a little banjo,
Nice.
a little bass.
Nice. And I think we were talking before, you're getting ready to set up a little studio.
Yes, in my home.
That'll be cool.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that.
That'll be cool. And that will probably engender a whole spate of new creativity, no
I'm
doubt.
hoping so. I'll have the time and the proximity to my gadgets. Yes.
Awesome. Well, Howard, without further ado, why don't you share your song with us? And
All right,
thank you
we'll
for
do that.
coming on Cecil.
Thank you for having me.
TV.
Thank you. This is called Come Down Off That Woodpile, Jordy. It's about a young man who goes overseas, wants to do his duty for his country, and comes back changed. He's very different, and I'm hoping that people recognize the importance of supporting your veterans. Over 22 veterans a day are committing suicide in our country, and that's an unnecessary tragedy. Come down, come down, come down. When Jordan Grant was a boy, had all the usual toys, but he never seemed satisfied. He spent his boyhood days wandering the meadows and the glades. Jordy would never harm a fly. Then one day his little sister lost her precious kitty, Mr. Whiskers, chasing rodents high atop a wood pile. Jordan climbed quickly to the top. Sister's tears began to stop. Mr. Whiskers came down to ground in style, and his mother cried, "Come down off that wood pile, Jordy. Don't think you're gonna fly. Come down off that wood pile, Jordy. I don't want to see you try." At the age of majority, he joined the U.S. Army. Jordan hoped to do his country proud. He did his duty driving tanks. He rose quickly up the ranks. In Fallujah, Jordy hit his stride. Then one day out on patrol, a shell burned a smoking, flaming home in the home of a local family. With nowhere else to go and their home burning up below, the survivors climbed on top of their roof, and the tank commander ordered, "Come down off that rooftop, Jordy. Don't think you're gonna fly. Come down off that rooftop, Jordy. I don't want to see you try." Back in the world now, Jordan Grant found a job at a local plant, but he couldn't keep his head in the game. Late night and throughout each day, his mind would constantly replay all the scenes of his experience in Iraq. And the news of another terrorist bomber grew increasingly more somber. He avoided all his friends and family. He slipped into a dark depression. It didn't help to make confession. He'd think of only one way to set himself free, and the psychiatrist prescribed, "Come down off that ledge now, Jordy. I don't think you're gonna fly. Come down off that ledge now, Jordy. I don't want to see you die. Come down off that ledge now, Jordy. I don't want to see you fly.
smiles, all the faces of the young. Do you see the faces of the old? He's lined and wrinkled, a new tale untold. As we approach our last breath, every deed defines our soul. Do you see the smiles, all the faces of the old? As we travel through the corridor of time, first it seems just a state of mind. Corridor grows cold as you travel toward the old. Are you captured by the illusion